When I was child, there are specific questions that I never asked and I didn't even know they exist. But now when I'm older, I have my own work, I have more and more questions. Sometimes when you think a lot about them, you can even find the logic behind them. And this is the education. So you see, education is a good thing. Of course, it is. Basically, it's everything, because if you don't have education about anything, you won't be able to do anything and you would not know anything. But at the same time, we can also see that some people were more educated than others. And when I say that, I mean the difference is huge to some people. Like, some people are down below and the others are all the way up here. When it comes to education, it can be a massive difference sometimes, depending on people. How is that possible? I guess the simple way to explain this is just say, well, the individual just did not want to learn, so they're with low intelligence. The easy way to explain that. But maybe it's not that simple. Think about it for a second. If education is so important, why everybody is not the same? Why just a few people have massive education level and others have very low? Why is it not enforced? Because clearly we live in an era where everything is enforced. For example, you know how a life of somebody goes. You're a child and then you go to school, this is mandatory, and then you go to work. But you see, obviously some people skip, some people doesn't go to school. Most of the time, most of them, they go to school. In the age between 7 and maybe 18, 19, this is free when you think about it. This is free and it's mandatory. You need to go to school to teach you how to operate in a society, basically. So this is important. We see that it's important, it's free, okay, very good. Now, why is a more advanced education not free then? Think about that for a second. Why becoming an engineer, for example, requires you to pay for a university, or maybe even like courses and stuff like that? Why becoming an artist also is requiring you to buy an education, basically? Or like anything out there, anything, like a lawyer, if you want to become a doctor, to save lives, you gotta go to university. Why is that not free again? And you see, here I see two problems. First, they don't need us to be educated. They just need us to know the basics, how to pay the bills and how to be workers. And the second, I see greed. I see greed. Somebody wants to become something, but there is a wall. For example, right now, maybe I want to become an engineer. Just an example. What is the route for me at this age? I gotta go and learn something about it, read some books, and then find a university and pay for it, a huge amount. And now the thing is, it's not just finding one university and go ahead and pay for it. You know, you have options. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 universities that offers this, and they say some are better, some are worse, right? You already know some universities are very expensive, others are a little bit cheaper but still costs money, while third are absurdly expensive, and some people are just not going to be able to pay for them. And depending on where you depending on your country, if you're in a small country, you likely have one university that offers a wide range of programs. In the other, the cheaper version, the cheaper universities, they do not offer us wide range of education. So it's just the basic stuff there. But if for example, if you want to be game developer or maybe 3D artist, maybe something related with IT, a little bit more modern, you won't find those in the cheaper universities, but you find it in the very expensive one if you're in a small country. For the bigger countries, probably it's different, maybe it's similar, I don't know, I'm not aware, but probably it's the same. But the point is there. You choose, you go. So now we can how to understand this thing. Why the university costs, and it costs a lot. We can say that maybe to people gotta leave, gotta earn something. Okay, but what about the school, the primary school and high school? They're mostly free. I mean, you still gotta pay for your books and materials, but they're mostly free. And it's very mandatory to have. So why is the university not like this? If a country can pay for primary school and high school, why they can't pay for universities as well? Educate you, make you a better person, right? This is the whole point. Make you a better person, and now you are very smart and you can do things on your own. You have the knowledge. Again, the route is you finish high school, and if you don't have the money or nobody is there to pay for you for your university, you go to work and you pay for it on your own, which usually or sometimes goes a different way. You start working and you just drop out of university if you have paid for it, because it's just too much for some people. Handle work, handle house things, and just go to university. You see, it's just not that simple. If we eliminate the payment out of this, maybe people doesn't have to focus on 10,000 things at one time. They can focus on education, learning something. But you see, what we see out there, whether it's a business, somebody made a business, a corporation, company, they have a knowledge, right? They have a knowledge. They have learned something that somebody who is a worker probably did not. But where did that knowledge came from? University, maybe, possible, but either way, they received that knowledge somewhere, somehow. Now they're playing by their own rules. Now let's multiply this a little bit. What if everybody is like this, and they have their own company, their own corporations, and they play by their own rules, and they try to make their own rules, then they gotta prove to the country that whatever scheme they have made to maintain their business is legit. They have lawyers and stuff like that working for them. But you see, if everybody's like this, I'm thinking maybe there won't be consumers. You see, for a corporation to work, somebody has to buy their stuff, whatever they offer. They offer something and somebody has to buy it, and this makes them money. But so think about that for a moment. Maybe the idea here is they don't want us to be educated. Let's see, why educate everybody to such a high level when all you need to do is just read, do a simple math and follow rules as they teach us in school. follow the rules, you know. If you don't follow the rules, bad things happen. If you do, then that means you're good. So a lot of people live their life like this. But maybe this is what they want us to be. And think about it, to make a business, to make a corporation or something big out of there, you cannot always follow rules, and you always think outside of the box. Exactly the opposite of what we're being taught in school when we're kids. Like following rules, doing everything like everybody else does is not gonna cut it out. I think a lot of us know that this is not how you make business. And, not only that, but as I said, maybe they just want us to be less educated. And not only that, but they're also using the education itself as a way of income, of farming money, just like corporation does. Because we are talking a very huge amount of money you need to spend to go to university and get an attempt to get a grade. It's an attempt. Nothing is sure. You can drop out, you can get a low grade, and you're done. Good luck again if you want to try. I see this as a greed. If we're meant to be smart to a certain level, to high level, even university would be actually free, or at least minimal amount of money, way less than a average salary out there, way less. Otherwise it's just greed. Looks like yet another corporation that just wants to use you as a consumer. Besides, there are very, very crucial skills that one should probably have, especially in the time we live. For example, to be able to read legal language, basically what lawyers do nowadays. You see, because at some point you might make your own business, and everybody comes at you with some papers, some language. You look at the paper and you're like, what is this? Is this my language, or am I reading something else? They use such a strange terms that the regular person cannot read. And then again, how do you get used to this? How do you learn this? Get an education or a lawyer, something like this. But then again, are you going to become a lawyer? And at least, why is this thing not in the school? Why are we not prepared to read stuff like legal language? Or why are we not being taught how to spot liars and how to prevent getting manipulated? Because in the world of corporations and stuff like that, everybody comes at you like a professional and they talk, but they talk in such terms that it's extremely hard to understand if you're not a lawyer, if you don't have the education. And it's always manipulation, twisting the truth in a ways. So this is not for everybody, basically. It is just not for everybody. There are so many walls between somebody actually achieving something big in life and trying to move out of being a simple worker and maybe working for themselves. And if this is not important, to at least be able to spot when somebody manipulates you by using a professional language, then I don't know what else would be. And this is not being taught in school. So what does that mean? They don't need us to understand this. It is completely fine when somebody manipulates us, and it's completely fine when we don't understand what is written in a paper because it is filled with legal language that we have no clue what it means. How are those things fine? I really don't find answers. Again, let's go back to when we were young and we're becoming young adults, we're being told follow the rules, listen to what they say. And then you grow up and you find out that when somebody is talking to you seriously and professionally, it actually might as well be a manipulation. Where does that leave us? Some things really don't have an answer